guys, it's Bro You Whack, and the mid-season patch for Season 4, aka the Starwatch patch, is finally out for Overwatch 2, and with it obviously came the brand new game mode Starwatch, but it also came with a bunch of hero changes that is 100% gonna change the meta in Overwatch. Especially if you're either a tank main or a support main, because a lot of heroes in that category got changed, some for the better and some for the worse. But before we get into the individual hero changes, first we gotta talk about the general changes done to the game. First and foremost, to the ping system, because I know a lot of people are getting annoyed by the fact that whenever you want to group up with your teammates, the hero that you're playing sometimes maybe said something close to group up, but it wasn't very direct. But now in this newest update, you're able to turn on or off the contextual comms wheel, meaning that if you turn it on, you're able to get all those fun and somewhat similar voice lines to group up and other kind of pings.
I stand with you.
Or if you turn it off, you're just able to say directly, group up with me, like how he could in Overwatch 1.
Group up.
Along with the comm changes, push also got a change where the respawn timer increases by 2 seconds whenever your team has the forward spawn unlocked. But now that that's out of the way, now let's look at all of the individual hero changes, first starting off with tank heroes. First tank is going to be the queen of Junkrat Town, Junkrat Queen, where she got a whole gang of changes. First of all, her scatter gun ammo got increased from 6 bullets to now 8 bullets. Her jagged blade Gracie got a little bit thicker and a little bit bigger because now her projectile size increased by 0.05 meters, which is so hard to show in this comparison, so just know that her jagged blade is just a teeny bit bigger now. And the Queen's Rampage ultimate got somewhat of a buff, where now upon impact she does an initial 40 damage with her ult. However, the wound damage that you get over time decreased from 100 to 60, so it's basically taking that 40 damage and just giving it in the very first instant of her ult. And the Adrenaline Rush got a pretty big buff, where the healing multiplier increased from 1.25 per damage dealt by wounds to now just 2 times damage dealt by wounds. Orisa got the simplest change out of all these patch notes, where her primary form of fire damage got buffed, where it increased from 12 damage to now 13 damage. Winston's jetpack got buffed, but it is so hard to show in this comparison because the damage radius fall off now begins at 1.3 meters, where previously it was at 1 meter. So you can kind of see how it's hard to show the damage buff comparing the two distances. Hammond got a huge nerf that I do think is going to knock him out of the S tier where he's currently at, because his adaptive shield time got decreased from 9 total seconds to now 7 seconds. So a lot of great tank changes are coming to heroes that I do think need addressing, especially someone like Wrecking Ball, who is the S tier tank hero to play right now. Now with this 2-second nerf, I think this is gonna knock him down just a few pegs, but not make him completely useless, just not as long lasting as he typically does, say if there is everybody alive on the enemy team. But someone like the Junkrat Queen, who is not really the worst tank, but I think these changes are really gonna help with the initial boom that she has whenever she's in a team fight. Orisa with the increase of damage is always nice. Winston, I don't really I think the Winston change is gonna be very unnoticeable unless you're a Winston main, but there still is one tank that has yet to be addressed that I think is one of the worst tanks right now, and that is Roadhog. But apparently there is a massive Roadhog rework coming down the road. We just didn't get it this change. Now let's look at the 2 DPS heroes that got changed in this patch. Echo got both a buff and a nerf, and I want to know your guys' thoughts on this, because her ultimate cost got reduced by 25%, meaning that you're able to get her ult a whole lot quicker, but the ultimates that you generate whenever you copy somebody got decreased by 5.5 times to now just 4 times, meaning that you get the ultimates of the hero that you copy a whole lot slower. It seems like Junkrat always gets some sort of change in every single patch note, and here it's to his concussion mine, where the maximum damage got increased by 10, going from 100 to 110. DPS heroes usually never gets a lot of changes when it comes to patch notes, because they're having to rework tanks to fit the 5-5 meta, and then support heroes, well, they're trying to make them more fun and more appealing. DPS, I think they're in a somewhat good spot, but Junkrat, he continuously gets changes to his trap or to his concussion mines. Here, it's gonna help with the insta-kill ability, which is something that I think he heavily relies on, which is great. But then we have Echo, where we're able to copy a hero, but we're not able to get that hero's ult quite as fast. And as terms of the fun level, I do think that kind of blows because, well, it's always fun to get an instant ult from a hero, like say someone like a Roadhog, but now you're able to copy a tank a lot quicker, which is usually what Echo's ult is always used for. Well, it's a lot better strategically. Again, like as terms of fun, not so much because you're basically just being just a second tank on the field. But I actually do think this is going to help Echo's stock and make her a whole lot meta because, again, the whole point of you using her duplication ultimate is to get a second tank, is to copy the Reinhardt or the Zarya or whoever's on the field to make that strong push because you have two giant boys on your team now. But again, it's just a lot less fun because now you're not able to use the enemy's ult quite as much. But ladies and gentlemen, it's now on to supports. First and foremost, with Ana's nerf that I think is going to influence a lot more anti-grenades because the explosion healing decreased from 100 total heal from your grenade to now just 60. And while Ana's getting nerfed, Baptiste is getting buffed. Wait, what? His immortality field cooldown decreased from 25 seconds to 23 seconds? Why would they do that? Well, we don't have time to ponder that because we gotta move on to Kiriko's changes. First of all, the reload animation got buffed, where now it reloads after 65% of her animation compared to 75%. But a great quality of life change is that Kiriko now has an option for her specifically where you're able to toggle on and off healing a Fuda that cancels your kunai reload. So before this change, every single time that you threw your healing a Fuda papers, it would always cancel the reload for your kunai. And you're still able to keep the setting, you just gotta turn it on. But if you turn the setting off, if you need to reload your kunai but you decide to throw your healing a Fuda paper right away, well, it will need to finish the animation of her reload before you can throw your healing a Fuda paper. And Lifeweaver got a change! Finally, we have been begging for this! Reinhardt is no longer a valid target for life grip during Earth Shatter, and using Earth Shatter will cancel the life grip. Literally an F tier hero, and that is the change that we get for Lifeweaver. That's just beautiful, Blizzard. I'm just gonna say it, I think Ana is gonna fall out of the meta, and I hate to say that's good because I feel like Ana is similar to Reinhardt whenever these two heroes are meta, it's usually a good meta. It's never really super duper annoying, but Ana has been one of the best support heroes ever since the launch of Overwatch 2, throughout the history of Overwatch 1, and with this initial explosion healing getting decreased by 40, like that is huge for squishy heroes. For tanks, not so much, but I think this is going to influence a lot more Anas to use your grenade as an anti-grenade, which is how I always see it as. I never call it a biotic grenade, I always call it an anti-grenade because it is just so good to be able to ensure that the enemy team cannot heal unless they have a Kiriko cleanse. But then that also means that Kiriko is probably going to be a whole lot more meta now, especially with these good quality of life changes. And then the Baptiste, bro, stop buffing Baptiste immortality field and just get it out of the game. If we're gonna be buffing anybody, buff Lifeweaver, please. He is just complete cheeks. Anytime you have a Lifeweaver on your team, it's an automatic L. An L in Lifeweaver, an L in your game. It's just, ugh. But guys, these are all the changes that are gonna be coming out for this mid-season patch, and I think these are some pretty good changes, but there's just heroes that are missing, specifically Lifeweaver and Roadhog and maybe Symmetra because we're still waiting for, and Sombra rework, completely forgot about that. But there are heroes that are supposed to be addressed in the near future, but these I think are some good changes. But let me know what you think. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.